Welcome to the Joyride Podcast. I am so excited that you are here with me today. My name is Rebekah Joy. I'm a life coach, a motivational speaker, and your host. This is a space where we get real, we get raw, and we certainly are getting very honest with ourselves. Here we're talking about real growth. I'm talking the kind that changes how you see yourself, how you trust yourself, and how you decide to move throughout your life. We are exploring confidence, embodiment, intuition, identity, wellness, and the inner work behind real life transformation. You do not need to have it all figured out to be here because trust me, I certainly don't. There is no pressure to perform or become something or someone else. This podcast is meant to feel like home. It's a place where you can come back to and settle in and feel seen and celebrated and really reconnect with what matters most to you. So if you are ready to live with more alignment, certainty, and self-trust, you're exactly in the right place. So let's begin. Hello. Welcome back to the Joyride Podcast. This week's episode is going to be about finding balance. Finding balance in your life between things happening and things not happening. And I had a very heavy week last week, to be honest. We had something very exciting happening, the launch of the New Era program, which I'm so excited about. And I shared all of the details in last week's podcast episode. So if you have not already listened to it, make sure that you go back and listen to the last episode because I get into what is the New Era, why it's happening, the backstory on it. But I'm really, really proud of this offering, and I'm super excited to see who signs up for this program, what takes place within these next 90 days, the community that we create together. There truly is nothing like having a community, and I've been finding myself over the past week, ever since I moved into my new space, which, by the way, it is so gorgeous, and it is such an upgrade, and I'm actually sitting in the kitchen right now staring at a vase of beautiful pink roses, looking out at these floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at the city, and it just feels so damn good to be back in a city. It is not a crazy city by any means, but it's a city, and I just feel so at peace when I'm in the city. I love the sounds, I love the honks, I love the cars, I love being able to walk outside and go walk somewhere to get something to eat, to go get a coffee. Like, it just feels so good to be back in a city, And I've been thinking a lot recently about how excited I am to build a sense of community again and to really have my people and to have my places again and to feel rooted again. But at the same time, why we're talking about balance on this week's episode is because at the same time, I'm so excited for that, but I'm also really, really longing for it. And because I have that longing within me, I feel really sad that I don't have it right now. So we're going to get into finding the balance between wanting something and desiring something and acknowledging what emotions come up when you want something really, really badly and you know that it's a part of you and you know that it's a part of your story and a part of your path. And also knowing that these desires that you have, even though they are delayed, they are not denied. And really how to be okay with having, yucky feelings about things, feeling mad that you don't have something, feeling frustrated, feeling sad, feeling bitter, feeling resentful, feeling like, fuck you, universe. Like, I really want this stuff and I'm showing up for it. And then also feeling okay with letting go. Feeling okay with acknowledging that maybe we don't have control here. Acknowledging that these things are happening for you, just not in the timeline that you want. Because for most of us, we want things right here. We want things right now. We have such a short fuse. We can all be very impatient. And I personally have a tendency of getting very angry at the universe and getting very angry at God. And with that, I feel really bratty and pissy. And then I don't like that. And then I feel bad about feeling those emotions. So I am learning myself how to find the balance between acknowledging that it is okay for me to feel all of these feelings that I don't love, that I would say are more of like those dark feelings that a lot of us try our best not to feel or push down. Acknowledging that those feelings are simply a part of living the human experience, and then also acknowledging that there is lightness and knowing that it is okay that those things aren't happening for me, because what is happening underneath all of those emotions. So we're going to get into that, what took place over the past week. And, I hope that you'll be able to walk away from this episode having some of those light bulb moments, those revelations where you're like, okay, this makes a lot of sense as to why I was feeling this way. For me, I've gone through so much within the past 8 months of living here in North Carolina. A lot of resting, a lot of healing, a lot of like, holy shit, things coming to the surface that I was not aware of. But I recently crossed that threshold of moving from the resting and the healing phase to the we're doing shit again phase, which feels so fucking good. Of course, it was all divinely timed with us now being in Aries season and having the spring equinox and being literally in spring. But my body really felt like, okay, we've had our time. We were at our parents, we were resting, we were healing, we were building new foundations and structures and really figuring out like what the fuck just happened and how are we going to move from here. And now I'm in this beautiful new space. It's not my end goal by any means, because I'm still getting the fuck out of here. And I'm also feeling very, very impatient, because even though I'm living in such a beautiful space and I'm living with one of my best friends who has such amazing energy, and we are able to help each other and support each other in the ways that we both need it individually, I also acknowledge that I'm in the bridge still, and I'm not at that end goal where I want to be. And that's really hard for me to grasp sometimes. And I'm sure that you can feel that way with whatever you have going on in your life. It feels really good to have that momentum, to put your energy, your focus, and your intention into something and to moving the needle forward. That feels really, really good. But I personally have these moments where I get so frustrated and I get so mad and I get so angry that I find myself kind of feeling stuck for a second, which I don't think is a bad thing. I acknowledge that we're allowed to have our moments. We're allowed to have our pity party moments where it's like, oh my God, why are things like this? Things are not moving along fast enough for me. I've worked super hard. I deserve this. It feels very like bratty princess-y to me. And those moments were coming up heavily this past week with the Libra full moon. I'm like full on PMSing. I'm about to get my period. And I just launched something really big and really new. So there are also feelings of being afraid and scared and like, oh my God, did I make the right decision? What are we doing? Which those feelings are not new to me, but they're always unsettling. And if you're an entrepreneur yourself, like, what that feeling is like. You're always like, did I make the right decision? Am I supposed to be doing this? Because, this path that we're on is so unconventional. There's nothing normal about it. You're just making up shit as you go. You're constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks and what doesn't stick. So what comes with that are a lot of heavy ass emotions. But I have learned, especially this year, as I've started my journal speak practice, and I'm getting really, really, really comfortable with releasing emotions. That is something that I wasn't comfortable with for many, many years. I thought that I was releasing emotions, but I was more so just like feeling them and keeping them felt and keeping them there. And now I'm acknowledging that, you know, by sharing my emotional experience with not just with people that are safe people to me, but really having structure within that, like working with my therapist every week, having this daily practice of journal speak where every single day I sit down and I just fucking go ham. And I allow myself to have no boundaries and to really, really go there, because being such an emotional person, being an entrepreneur, being a creative, being someone that's like, I'm not here to live the normal fucking life. That sounds horrible to me. I know that I need to make sure that I am regulating myself and finding balance within that. So this full moon that we just experienced last week, I think that it's really highlighting for all of us where we need balance in our life and where things are out of balance. And that may be where you're experiencing, you know, out of balance within your emotional landscape. Maybe you're someone who leans more on the negative side, or maybe you're someone who leans a little bit more on like the toxic positive side, you know. Maybe it's an imbalance within your family dynamics, or, you know, you devoting way too much time to your career and not getting as much time for yourself. I have learned to really, really love Libra energy. I think for a while, being an Aries South Node, I did not really fuck with Libra energy. I was like, make up your fucking mind, choose a side, and go after something. If you know a Libra, you know, like they can be very cool, calm, and collected, and like, let's keep the peace and let's have balance and harmony, and like, we're on everyone's side. And I have a lot of Libra people in my life that I'm very, very close with. And I've always been like, make a fucking choice, like draw the line in the sand. But I'm now learning that we all need to find balance within our lives. And for me, what's come up lately within my life is finding the balance between, I am acknowledging that I am showing up and I'm putting in the work and I'm moving the needle forward, but also acknowledging that I am not here to play God. And just because the desires that I have been delayed, that does not mean that they are denied. That really, really, really gets to me sometimes. I am very impatient, as we all are, with a lot of things. And sometimes I just expect things to happen because I put timelines on myself. I'm like, this is going to happen by then, you know? And so if it doesn't happen, or, you know, I get caught up in the anxiety of, oh my God, is this going to happen? That is when I feel stuck. That is when I personally experience a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of like, fuck you energy towards God and towards the universe. And that fuck you energy stems from deep, deep sadness, feeling like I am not supported and I'm really terrified and I'm really scared. And sometimes I have these moments where I'm like, God, I'm done dealing with this shit. I'm done having these emotions around this theme in my life. Like, dear God, haven't I had enough lessons? Haven't I done enough work? Haven't I done enough healing? And I had a really big moment last week because, you know, there's always healing to be done. There's always work to be done. But being a Virgo, I can so easily get caught up in like, you know, worthiness equals more healing. Worthiness equals like finding out the perfect way to do something, and that just is not the case. I am in such an interesting part of my life right now, and I cannot wait to look back on this chapter of my life because I'm like smack dab in the middle of the Bridge series where I have graduated to the next level. I'm on to the next step of the process, but there still is so much unknown ahead, but at the same time, it feels so close, like so close. So for me, finding the balance is acknowledging that every day I'm going to continue to get up, get dressed, and do my fucking thing. And old me wasn't doing that, to be honest. Old me was definitely stuck in these emotional highs and lows and giving myself a little too much grace and being like, you don't feel like it? We don't have to show up today, baby girl. It is okay. But I've been feeling really motivated lately, and I've been feeling really, really inspired. And when I'm having those moments where it feels like deep sadness and deep pain, which I acknowledge is also such a gift, right? Because I was on a really long walk yesterday on this new trail, which so reminds me of Austin because it's around this lake and it's giving like all of the buggy vibes. Because if you have walked Lady Bird Lake in Austin, it's like there are like bugs and there's like trees around you, and it's just like, it's the best vibe, but it's very naturey, So I found this new path 10 minutes away from my new place, and it brought me such a deep sense of home, which this past week I really, really needed because I was feeling really heavy and I was really, really longing to feel connected to the land. I always felt so insanely connected to the land of Austin and the people and the community. And my favorite thing about Austin was I could be on that trail, and I walked it thousands of times. I never felt alone. I was alone most of the time that I walked that trail, but I never felt alone. And so I had these moments this past week where I was like, man, I'm really fucking ready for that again. And it was such a beautiful sign of growth for me because I really haven't felt that in the past 8 months. I've really been so focused and so immersed on like the healing phase and the resting phase. And it took a lot for me to get my energy back, to get my spark for life back again. But to be able to now sit here and say confidently, I am so ready to be in that next stage of life where I am building again. I'm building new friendships. I'm building a new community. I'm building, the normalcies in my life, whether it's like places that I frequent or people that I see all the time. Those little aspects of life make up your life. And it's what I miss the most from Austin. I miss my regulars that I see all the time. I miss the coffee shops that I would go to. I miss the places and the people that really made me feel like home. So I am in that position in my life currently. And that's why the new era especially is so personal to me. And it's so important to me because I am right there at the threshold of my new era. And I know that you may be too. I know that so many people are standing at that threshold and they are so ready for that new era of their lives. So this week was such a powerful week because it was so heavy for me, but truly in such a beautiful way. And I had a lot of moments where I felt really, really down that I didn't have these things. There's a gift in knowing what you want, but it's also it brings up a lot of sadness too at the same time because you're like, oh, I really, really want these things, but like I don't have them and it's really sad. Does that make sense? Like, the thought of, let's say that you and your husband have now decided that you want to have kids after being married for a year or two. And maybe you're trying and it's not happening as easily as you thought it would. On one hand, it's really, really excited that to have that clarity within your system of like, I know that this is what I want in my life is so dope and it's so fucking cool. And I was thinking about that heavily on my walk yesterday because I know that so many people in this life do not have clarity around what they want. They are, just used to this life that they're living, even though it doesn't fulfill them, it doesn't bring them joy. Like if they really, really, really sat down and asked themselves, what is it that you want in your life? What do you want it to look like? I guarantee you that so many people would say my life would look nothing like it looks now. And I love when people have those wake-up call moments in life because that is what life is about, reaching towards the things that make us feel whole. I'm so grateful that God has given me the desires that He has given me because they're so unique and they're so special to me and they're so niche. And that is just such a gift. So I think it's so fucking awesome when you have that clarity because I personally have gone through so many chapters of my life where I'm searching so desperately for that clarity. I'm like, God, just tell me what I want. Tell me where you want me to go. Tell me what you want me to do. Like, some of those chapters in life feel so foggy and they feel so hazy. But I'm in such a different chapter in my life where I know exactly what I want, who I want to identify as, who I want to become, the people that I want to surround myself with, the communities, the networks, the type of lifestyle, the home that I want to live in. It's all there. And that's so exciting and it's so cool. But at the same time, it can feel very frustrating, very devastating, where it's like, God, why aren't I there yet? Like, what else do I need to do? I had a few moments this past week where I just got really fucking angry. I'm like, what the fuck else do you want me to do? And why aren't you here? Because we can easily cling on to not just the idea of not having the things that we really, really want, but why aren't they happening now? And what is the time frame? And when is it going to happen? Because when we can't see those things, when we can't see the how, when we can't see how the dots are being connected, it's very easy for us to go to those dark places. And I acknowledge that those dark places are simply a part of the human experience and they are simply a part of life. And you are cheating yourself if you are shying away from them, because there's so much beauty in acknowledging that. I tell myself, I'm like, you want to be a victim, bitch? You can be a victim. You let yourself go there. Like, I will let myself cry. I will let myself sit in the sadness and be like, I want these things so fucking badly. So badly. And I am very hurt, God, that I don't have them yet. I will fully let myself go there. And then I'm like, okay, it's done. Okay, that's over. Now time to continue to move the needle forward. Because you're never stuck. We're never stuck unless we choose to be stuck. Unless you want to stay in that energy, you keep it moving, right? Like, my goal is to always keep it moving. I may have moments where I am just consumed by fear because I'm, future tripping about something. Okay, well, if this happens, how is that going to happen? And like, my mind can just go berserk and it can go crazy. But I always keep it moving. And I know that I am never stuck. I'm always in some type of transition. And so having that knowing brings me a lot of balance and brings me a lot of grace and helps bring me back down to earth, because I don't like feeling like a bratty princess. I genuinely feel bad when I have these moments where I'm like, God, fuck you. Then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I really didn't mean that. I was just like, having a moment. But then I remind myself, like, it is okay. It is okay to have these moments, because life is hard, man. Life is hard. Life is challenging. God bless the day when I meet the man of my dreams, my husband, who makes my life so much simpler and makes my life so much easier. And I feel that so deeply in my core, so deeply in my being, that like, I am at the very final stages of doing life alone. I have felt like I've done life alone for so long. Granted, I've had my family behind me and the support of amazing friends, but it's always felt like it's been me against the world. And that's been really, really tough for me. And it's been really, really hard. And so, being in a position now where I get to create a sense of community, not just for myself, but for other people, oh my God, that just brings me so much joy and it brings me so much fulfillment, because that alone will help you so much. And it has helped me so much as I have navigated throughout this journey of mine. Life is challenging, life is hard, and you constantly have to choose your hard. You have to choose your hard between keeping it safe and taking a risk. And I think about that all the time. Like, I'm just wired to constantly take those risks. And with each risk that I take, it's adding more to the unknown pile. I'm like, here we go again, bitch. Stepping right into the unknown, where I can easily freak the fuck out and get really fearful and anxious and stressed. But that's also the path that I've chosen to walk, because I've walked that other path so many times, but then I'm left feeling like, but there's more, but I feel unfulfilled and something doesn't feel right here. So, finding the balance within your own life, acknowledging that with the darkness comes light, with the light comes darkness, and understanding that just because you don't have something in this moment does not mean that you are denied. Man, I think all the time about these people who share their pregnancy journeys on Instagram, people who have done IVF and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and have tried and tried and tried for years, and finally, on year 7, they get pregnant. I'm like, oh my God, I've never experienced something like that, where I see my risk and where I take a lot of my risks in life are in my career. And of course I take risks in other areas of like moving to new places and meeting new people and, whatever. But specifically when it comes to my career, my profession, my passions and all of that, I have taken a lot of risks. And sometimes, you guys, I have these days where I'm like, is it just not working? Is it just not happening? Do I just give up? But then I think, well, if you just give up, then you fail for good, right? If you just give up on your dreams, if you just give up on becoming a mother or finding the love of your life or becoming a successful businesswoman or, getting your MBA, it's like, well, if you just give up, like, you for sure know that it's never going to happen. But then I also think too, what's for you will not miss you. And so there have been times where I'm like, okay, God, thrown in the towel. We're done here. I know that I said I wasn't going to be done, but I'm done. And then some way, somehow, God is like, haha, bitch. Like, bitch, you thought that you were done. You are not done. So I also find it really important to bring comedy into balance in my life because it truly does help me to stay so balanced. And when I'm having those moments, really leaning on my support system and really leaning on myself to find balance. And really going back to what brings me a sense of balance. This morning I did so many things. I did my vibration plate. I did TBM. I sat down and did a journal entry. I wrote to my higher self, or I actually wrote it as if my higher self was talking to me and everything that I was feeling in this moment. Then I went to the gym. I did a little mat Pilates, listened to house music. I talked to my therapist and I was like, thank fucking God. Thank God that I know how to utilize all these tools and resources, because someone like me who is as emotionally charged as I am, I really need this shit, right? Because I am just not like a cool, calm cucumber type of girl where like we just go about our day and nothing affects us. Like, everything affects me. I'm constantly high and low, and that's because I'm going after really, really big things in my life. And I have to learn to find the balance on my own end. And I have to learn to know that, the universe has got my back. The universe has always got my back. God is always with me, even if it doesn't feel that way. Because let me tell you, there are a lot of times, especially if you're a single woman and you are alone, you're going to feel like, God, where are you? Like, knock, knock, hello, where are you? I've been here. I've been showing up. I'm doing the best that I can. Something that my therapist always reminds me of is learning how to walk away, especially at the end, like in an everyday sense, when you've done everything that you can, you've given all of your energy. We talked about this today in our session, being a manifesting generator, I have a lot of energy to give. I also am a Gemini moon. I am like, I need variety, but I also need structure. Like, I like to be very productive throughout my days. And so to me, a successful day is when I go to sleep at night, really feeling like, man, I'm tired. Like, I gave everything that I could give today. And to me, that is a balanced day. A balanced day is, one where I can get in an amazing workout and connect with people and work on my work things, but also have time to make myself nourishing meals and do things for myself. Like, I love to have balance within my days, but I'm also really learning when and how to walk away and to know that what I've done is enough. Because for so many years, I was constantly overworking and pushing myself because I was like, well, I need to see a result. I need to see a result in an Instagram notification. I need to see it in an email opportunity. I need to see it in money coming through. Like, I need to fucking see some type of result. And that is so hard, especially for the earth sign girlies out there. Like, we're like, where's the tangible result here? I just did something. Where's my result? That has been so hard throughout this process, especially as I create a whole new life for myself and I step into a whole new era. I become someone totally different. Reminding myself, the day that you plant the seed is not the day that you bear the fruit. And I know that sounds so fucking cliche because we've heard it so many times. But like, why I'm sharing this is because like, we have to remember these things. We just forget. We are constantly forgetting what we need to know. And so it's important for us to remember that, there is going to be time between when we start something and when we get that result. And just because it is delayed does not mean that it is denied. So how do we find balance with that? How do we exercise balance within our own lives and knowing I've done enough, I've really shown up? Like, that is my new goal in life, especially. I think I used to be very much so more results oriented and like, who signs up? How much money am I making? What is happening with this in my life? You know, blah, blah, blah. And now it feels very internal in the sense that I want to walk away every day and feel like however my energy was feeling that day, I want to make sure that I made the best of it. You know, I have days like yesterday where I wrote out my list. A lot of it was like things I needed to get done for work and for business. And for the most of the day, I was doing personal things. I was super tired yesterday. I got caught in a rainstorm at the end of my walk, which was kind of glorious. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a sign from God. You know, I did a lot of cleaning. I did a lot of cooking. And I felt like I was like in my maternal bag yesterday. So before, you know, I would have looked at my list and been overwhelmed and been like, oh my God, now I have all these things to do. And like, I didn't do enough. And yesterday I was like, girl, that is okay that you didn't get to all these things because you were using your energy in different ways. And we need to be able to remind ourselves of that because, listen, y'all, we can't be doing everything. Like, I keep on seeing these memes and I keep on seeing these videos of men actually talking about like how much women would get done in life if they had a wife at home. And I'm like, no, for real though. Like, I actually love being a wife. Like, I feel like I'm a wife for my friend right now. I do a lot of the cooking and the cleaning and the shopping and like, I genuinely love it. And that's why I know that I'm ready to be in a partnership because I cannot wait to step forward and support my man in those ways so he can be working his ass off for me, honey. So, you know, it's just so important to remember that, like, we have to find balance in our own ways. We have to find balance within our own emotional landscapes of, like, how we're balancing our emotions between feeling tired, feeling overworked, feeling angry, feeling frustrated, feeling sad, feeling defeated, feeling grief, feeling like I just want to focus on my healing. And then also finding the balance between getting up, getting dressed, and fucking moving towards the damn thing. And I love this Aries season energy because I'm feeling all the Aries things. I'm feeling the anger. I'm feeling the heat. I'm feeling the fuck you energy. I just want to focus on me. And I'm also feeling that energy of like, be bold, claim the fuck out of your life. Like, claim the shit that you want. Identify as it. Become it. Step forward and move, bitch. Like, you know, it's fun to dream and I love laying in bed and I love scrolling on Pinterest and I love journaling and meditating. But at the same time, I'm like, we gotta move. You know, you don't get your dream body by scrolling on your phone. You really don't. You get your dream body by getting your ass in the gym. And like, how good does it feel once you move? You know, not shying away from that energy that you felt before, because again, it's a part of the human experience, but knowing how to channel that energy, knowing how to find balance in your everyday life and how we can use those heavy emotions, you know, in our favor, right? Like every time that I'm feeling some type of way, like this morning I woke up and I was like, I'm about to get my period and I'm just feeling like a manic, anxious psychopath. I want to cry. I want to scream. I'm feeling all the things. And I did all of my things and I walked away. My therapy session was the last thing and I was like, I feel good. I feel good. I feel regulated. I feel ready to pour myself into what I'm building, what I'm moving towards, my life. And, you know, it's okay that I had a moment of like, I'm freaking the fuck out. But then I get right back to it. That to me is having the balance. That to me is knowing I know how to regulate myself. I know how to continuously show up for myself. And it's really, really important because I used to get so lost in my emotions and they used to overtake me. And I used to think that like that was okay. And it just wasn't okay because I was really burdening myself. And now I acknowledge that I feel a lot of shit and I do something about it and I keep it moving and I keep on showing up for the things that I want. And that's all that I want to show to other people too. You know, I have so much more to gain in my life and I'm so excited to continue on the journey to getting those things because it's not just getting those things, it's who I become in the process. And that is my favorite part of all of this. I even think about this podcast. Like my friend who I'm living with told me yesterday that she was listening to a TBM podcast and my podcast popped up right after hers. And she was like, oh my God, you just like are amazing. The fact that you do this. And to me, it just feels like, this is very normal to me. But I remember doing it in the beginning, overthinking everything that I said and like, am I saying things right? And what are the things that I'm saying valid? And now this is just a part of who I am and what I do. And I love it. But I acknowledge that people may be looking to me and seeing what I do and being like, how is she doing that? And I do that with so many other people. I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing. How is she doing that? I look at these people that have amassed, so many followers, these content creators, these influencers who've been doing this for years. And I'm like, that is amazing. People who've built these amazing businesses, or who have even like built these, just this like beautiful, expansive life with their families. I'm like, I love that I am constantly surrounded by inspiration and momentum and people and things that I get to look to and be like, whoa, this is so, so, so cool. And they're also experiencing the same challenges but different, but because of course everyone has different challenges in their life, right? But you are never alone in your struggle. You are never alone in your challenges, but it's finding the balance and not letting your emotions overtake you. It's acknowledging that, listen, allow yourself to be a victim for 5 minutes, get it all out, do whatever practices you need to do in order to release that shit, and then keep it moving because God is on your side. We are on your side. There are people that are on your side that are never going to tell you that they are on your side. And you're also going to have a lot of haters if you're doing really cool shit, like that's the balance in life. You're going to have people who wish they were you. You're going to have people who love you. You're going to have people who hate you. You're going to have people who support you and people who will never spend a dime on you. And that is just a part of life and a part of the balance of it all. So that is what I have for you for today's episode. I just feel really good. I really didn't have, I don't know. I feel like my thoughts were kind of all over the place for the episode this week. So that is what I have for you for today's episode. We are starting the new era in less than a week, and I would love to see you within the new era. So I will leave the information for that down below. Please remember that there are opportunities to join the new era as a member, and then there are a few opportunities to join also becoming a VIP client, which means that you are getting all of the calls, the live coaching calls within the new era, that supportive community group. But in addition, you're getting 6 private calls with me and direct access to me. So it's like you're getting a one-on-one coaching container, but then you're also gaining an incredible community and environment as well, which is just a match made in heaven. So all of the information will be down below. I will also include my Instagram if you are interested in reaching out to me for more information. I will leave that there too. But I love you, and I hope that you have such a wonderful week. Last week was just a lot of energy for so many of us. But we made it through. We made it through another week. That is such a gift. I am always rooting for you. I am always here for you, in your corner, supporting you, showing you love, and wishing the absolute best for you. If you found this podcast episode helpful, I would really appreciate it if you shared it with someone in your network, because we want to grow. We want to share the wealth with everyone. But with that, have a fabulous day or night wherever you are. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.